I'm Tracy Worcester, and I've lived in the countryside most of my life. But whether it's in Britain or abroad, I've seen small family farms going bankrupt because of the arrival of giant factory farms. America's industrial pig farmers copied the chicken industry by cramming thousands of animals into a confined space. There are sometimes as many as 10,000 pigs in buildings like this, their waste dropping through a slatted floor. During the 1990s, large-scale meat processors bought up livestock farms. This vertical integration allowed the corporations to control the whole process, from farming and slaughtering to packaging. The factory farms were now the main buyers of pigs, and as the price paid for pigs fell, many small farmers went bust. One survivor was Paul Sobocinski.
My tipping point, I think, was when I saw hogs go down to $8 a hundredweight in this country, worse than the Depression in the 1930s. And I saw that pain, I saw that happen to farmers, that I knew that we had to fight back, that we had to stand up, or they were just going to roll over and take democracy, our freedom.
Throughout the 1990s, small farmers in America campaigned against the growth of big farms.
Food has become a major profit-generating commodity and has spread onto a global playing field where food producers, workers, and consumers are reduced to pawns, manipulated by giant corporations.
The destruction of the small farm wasn't casual, it's systematic. It is the intention, it's the way that they make money, it's the design of this industry. Once a company owns both the slaughterhouse and some of the farms, it destroys the capacity of the farmers to organize.
I feel the responsibility to come here and warn Poland that they're going to try to get away with something in Poland that people in the United States now recognize is a catastrophe.
In North Carolina today, because of these facilities, you can drive across the state in rural areas and villages and see that the villages are now empty of people. That the hardware stores are closed, the feed stores are closed, the banks are closed, the churches and the schools are now closed, and the rural areas are empty.
To jeszcze, ale teraz te nasze dzieci, wszystko bez robocie i te dzieci chodzą, muszą kraść. No, wszystko chodzi, roboty nie ma nigdzie. Zapowiada się taka bieda, że będzie złodziej na złodziejuje.
The whole mission of the European Bank has been to industrialize Central and Eastern European agriculture. No question about that, and that has the effect of pushing out small farmers and independent farmers, and also the effect of opening it up to take over by foreign corporations.
If the experts are worried about pollution and the exploitation of the Earth's resources, shouldn't we be learning from Poland's traditional family farms and so protect them?
Some people find this kind of farming primitive, but it works. It's adequate for this number of hectares and for the number of people, and it doesn't use a lot of energy, and it doesn't therefore contribute to the greenhouse effect. And as oil becomes more and more expensive, you'll surely find that this kind of farming is going to be more attractive and more economic, for that matter.
Polish agriculture at the moment is not productive enough. Small farms are too small to be competitive. I think Poland wants and will have to be competitive on the world market, and for that they will have to actually continue improving productivity. That will be over time, at the expense of smaller farms.
Because a lot of the European officials are saying that the Polish farmers are too small. They've only got 18 hectares. What's too small about that?
Well, they want to sweep them aside so larger operators can take over, and everything will be owned by the corporations, I think.
And what do you think will happen to Poland as a result of that?
If Poland's family farmers are exterminated, as it were, it will destroy Poland's culture and, as far as that goes, its soul.
One of the former state farms, bought by a giant foreign company, holds about 17,000 pigs. Most factory pig farms use bare slats, but even when the farms have straw, they don't look healthy. In 2005, on another farm, I was shown undercover film of what was found in a cesspit of pig waste they call a lagoon. Next to another factory farm, neighbours were suffering from the stench of rotting pig feces.
Każdy, kto przyjedzie, to się pyta, jak tu mieszkacie. To ja po chemii tak nie zwracam, jak ja teraz po tych zabawkach zwracam. Ja jestem...
Those who live in closer distance from this meat factory suffer more from headaches, from sneezing, from stuffed nose, from running eyes, burning eyes, from neurological, respiratory and intestinal diseases, just because of being so much exposed to the noxious gases.
Later that year, I went with Dr. Hallett to visit local people who were complaining about their health.
Ja mam ciągle kłopoty z gardłem, z oczami. Cały czas. Ciągle chrzącham. Coś tam przeszkadza, jakaś klucha. Tak, ale ja mam mamę, która właśnie ma 84 lata i mama nie mogła oddychać, dusiła się, bo był taki smród, ten fetor i wtedy właśnie rozpoczęłam tą akcję.
My guide, Marek Kreider of the Polish Animal Welfare Institute, introduced me to one of the local residents. For many years they've been complaining about the local groundwater, believing it to be contaminated.
A zająłem się tym dlatego, że sam zacząłem chorować. Między innymi zacząłem chorować po spożyciu wody.
Could you tell me what specifically is the illnesses that people are getting around here?
Jakie dolegliwości występują u ludzi?
No, z tego co ja wiem, no to są to przede wszystkim dolegliwości ze strony przewodu pokarmowego, żołądek, poza tym jakieś zmiany na skórze.
I also heard locals' claims of what happened to children who'd swum in a nearby lake.
No takie normalnie po prostu takie jak odrzucenie czy coś takiego. Czerwone się robi, bo nic drapie cię i to po prostu...
Red skin, they got red skin.
Nie ma tak jak było powiedzmy nawet 2 lata temu, gdzie się łowiło ryby i było zielsko, tak w tej chwili nie ma. Ryby nie tak.
For stallholder Mike King, the secret of producing top-quality pork lies in the humane treatment of his animals.
I think pigs, they're such intelligent, sort of inquisitive animals. They need to be active all day long, searching for roots and grubs and things like that. Whereas pigs in concrete boxes, they've got nothing to do all day long, they're totally bored.
The intensive system Mike referred to is how most of the pork imported into the UK is produced. In most EU countries, it's legal to keep pregnant sows permanently in stalls like these, although they've been banned in the UK. Many well-known brand names use pig meat from intensive factory farm systems from all over the EU. By not being specific on the label about where the meat comes from, it's possible to source from outside the UK and benefit from cheaper labour and lower animal welfare regulations.
One of the big weaknesses of the system is a heavy dependence on antibiotics and the fact that that causes infections which can spread from animals to humans, such as Salmonella, E. coli, Campylobacter and even MRSA. With the research we've already got, we could actually say, stop, enough's enough. We've got a system here which is actually causing the pigs to be carrying dangerous infections which are going to come home and haunt us. And meat which may appear very cheap is in fact very, very expensive. And in some cases that could be at the cost of our own lives.
The consumer ultimately has the power. They can say whether they buy cheap pork, they don't care where it's produced or how it's produced or the quality of it. Ultimately, if the consumer refuses to buy that and prefers to buy meat which has a high welfare standard, produced in an environmentally sensitive way, then we'll be on to a winner, you know.